Alright, welcome back to TEW 2020, the new era. It is SummerSlam time, baby. SummerSlam time. I've got the schedule all ready for the rest of the series. I'm not revealing it tonight. It's going to be its own separate video that'll be up after this one. It'll be the next video that's in the series. And then after that is the build to those pay-per-views. What pay-per-views exactly? You'll have to find out on that video. Tonight we have a huge shit going down. A lot of shit that is going to involve championships. More specifically, Cesaro takes on Seth Rollins. Winner becomes the first ever Universal Champion. Sami Zayn and Dean Ambrose will battle in a street fight. The New Day are taking on the Club Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Winners brand will get those tag titles, and then the GM will have to figure out what to do with their tag division. And a lot more shit going down tonight, and I don't see why I need to continue on with this pre-show. I guess I am the pre-show. There's no need to continue on. Why just keep the suspense going? Let's get into SummerSlam 2016. So before any of the matches, before any of that, we have our SummerSlam video package. It highlights all the best stuff going on tonight. In my opinion, if this were to happen in real life, the 4 biggest matches I would have loved to see: Seth Rollins and Cesaro, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, John Cena, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose. In that order, actually. Not in that order. I literally meant to say the exact opposite. As in, not in this order. I don't care enough to tell you the order, because I don't even know the order. But we're going to open the show. It is Rusev. It is Zack Ryder, the Crush America Tour's next pit stop here in Barclays Center, here right next to Zack Ryder's hometown. Will the hometown hero be able to capture the United States Championship? He does! Zack Ryder defeats Rusev to become the next United States Champion right by his hometown. The Barclays Center is going absolutely crazy for Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder celebrates. He hypes up his hometown. What an emotional, I guess. And he got a new catchphrase. Let's go. Woo, woo, woo. He goes bro, bro, bro now. So, what an emotional and just a great way to open the show. I really wish there was a thing in TEW where if a certain worker, like, it went more in depth with where someone's from. So if a certain worker, like, is in a match in his hometown, it can get, like, a boost or something if they're a face. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I think that would make a lot more sense. I think that'd be a great feature. But, yeah, that doesn't matter, because up next is Hideo Itami versus Sheamus. A great match, and I really wanted to have Hideo win this one, but the pop gap between him and Sheamus was way too big. There was no way I could get Sheamus to fall down clean, so he didn't. He defeated Hideo Itami after using a foreign object. I guess Finley's Shillelagh, he borrowed it. He used Finley's Shillelagh to defeat Hideo Itami here on SummerSlam. Hopefully, if you're Sheamus, hopefully this is the last time you have to deal with Hideo Itami. Because if you're both using foreign objects, or neither of you are using foreign objects, Hideo Itami could have beaten Sheamus tonight. But that wasn't the case. And following that match, we got news that on the Saturday house show, Darren Young suffered a major injury. And Dr. ZZ Loop is telling Shane McMahon this. He knows that Darren Young isn't here tonight because he's nursing his ribs. I believe it was fractured ribs. So Shane McMahon now has to decide what is going to happen in the Miz's match later tonight. But that is not next. Next, we have Alexa Bliss taking on Becky Lynch. Can Becky prove herself? Becky does prove herself. She locks in the disarmer 9 minutes into the match. Beats Alexa Bliss. Both women kind of elevated by this feud. Alexa Bliss took the fight to Becky Lynch for 9 straight minutes. It was a very open match. And she also did get her first win on the main roster last week on SmackDown. But Becky Lynch, this is probably the biggest match in this save for her, and she does win it. She proves her point that maybe she does deserve more opportunities in the spotlight. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Where do we go from here? You'll have to find out. Following that match, it is The Miz and Maurice, yes. It is Miz and Maurice in the ring, just kind of taunting, laughing at the fact that Darren Young isn't going to be here for the championship match tonight. But Shane McMahon tells Miz not to worry. No. He's still going to get to fight tonight. And it's going to be against one of the hottest prospects, I should say. The hottest prospects on the Raw brand. And it is Neville. Miz will be taking on Neville here tonight. A surprise for the Miz. A surprise for the audience. However, the Miz defeats Neville in 12:27 by pinfall with the skull-crushing finale after Maurice interfered. This is the Miz's second defense of the Intercontinental Championship, an 80 overall match, because both of these men are, they're not the greatest workers of all time, but they're both very solid workers. So, it was a decent match, and who's to say what would have happened if Maurice didn't get interfered? So far, SummerSlam has gotten off to a bit of a rocky start, you could say. I guess 2 matches ended decisively, but the other 2, there's been some shenanigans. Will the show turn around? The answer is yes. I moved any of the matches with shenanigans to the top of the card because no one wants to deal with shenanigans. Unless you're Stephanie McMahon, then you love all the shenanigans that you can get. So we see Stephanie in her office with the Big Show, with Chris Jericho, with Seth Rollins, and she's like, okay, so I know that we agreed to, like a gentleman's agreement. No interfering, none of that. I lied. Wasn't in the contract, so we don't have to deal with that. We can do whatever the hell we want tonight. And Seth is loving the sound of this. Jericho's loving the sound of this. Big Show doesn't show emotion. However, Stephanie has one fatal flaw, and that is that she left the door to her office creaked open, and we see Randy Orton. He's listening to what's going on. What will Randy Orton do with this information? We'll find out later tonight. We then get the number 1 contenders match for the tag team championships. Winner will either face the New Day, or I guess winner will get something if the New Day lose. But assuming that the New Day win, then the Glorious Ones are your new number 1 contenders for the tag team championships. They win clean. Austin Aries pins Jimmy Uso with a 450 splash. It was a very competitive match between the teams. Bobby Roode and Austin Aries got a tag team specialist bonus. That's great. Just a lot of this chemistry stuff really brought this match up to much better than it would have been if not. But after the match, the Glorious Ones, they're like, we're not leaving just yet. We know what match is on next. We know the tag team championship match is on next. So we're just going to sit out here on ringside, watch the show. And they do just that. Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, the New Day come out. And the match is on SmackDown vs. Raw, the only cross-brand match on this pay-per-view. And it is the New Day winning the match for Raw, keeping the titles on Monday Night Raw. After all of that, the club just could not get it done. And the New Day retain the World Tag Team titles with the Midnight Hour. But now we know why the Glorious Ones are out here tonight. They were out here to jump the New Day after they retained the titles. We now know that they weren't just there to watch to see what's going to happen with the tag team titles, since they are now on the top of the food chain. I guess not the top, the closest to the tag. Whatever. They're here to just prove a point, and I bet you they would have beaten up the club if they won. They are here to just prove a point that they are the toughest tag team in the tag team division. Following that match is our WWE Championship match, getting a 93. Dean Ambrose defeats Sami Zayn by pinfall with the Dirty Deeds after a hellacious street fight. Dean Ambrose retains his WWE Championship. JBL was pretty weak. Whatever. 93 for this segment. I put this match up higher on the card, mainly because I didn't feel it had the storyline heat that the rest of the matches kind of do. This one is the, I guess, worst, with a huge asterisk. It's like worst because one of them has to be worst. It is the worst book match. Why am I shitting on my own product? I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to just say that the storyline isn't as strong for this match, and that's why it's higher on the card. Fucking God. Why was I burying my own fucking product? So following that match, Xavier Woods comes out. No New Day. Bray Wyatt comes out. Still no New Day. The match is about to begin. And then despite being attacked, despite being ambushed by the Glorious Ones, the New Day do show up for Xavier Woods. They show up and they're there to support him in probably his biggest singles match of his career. And he pulls through. He has his boys there. His confidence is at an all-time high. He defeats the big, scary Bray Wyatt, the man he has feared for the longest time. He finally gets a win over him with the Shining Wizard. Good 84 rated match. I honestly did not expect the WWE Championship match to do that good because it was face versus face. So, you know, I've turned Bray Wyatt heel, by the way. I did that on a main event because I was going to turn him heel and then I forgot to fucking set the turn thing, so I just did it on an episode of main event. But he turned heel earlier in the save. I don't remember the exact date. I didn't exactly explain it well because I got confused. But Bray Wyatt's a heel because face Bray Wyatt's stupid to me. I don't know how to book it. So this is face versus heel. That's why I put it after the WWE Championship. I didn't expect it to do that well. Following that, Randy Orton does follow up on what he heard earlier by Stephanie McMahon, and he's telling Shane, he's like, Shane, what the hell are we going to do about this? All right? I'm not Cesaro's best friend and all, but I do hate Seth Rollins. I do hate Chris Jericho. So anything that prevents them from gaining an upper hand, I'll help with. And Shane's just like, I don't know. There's nothing we can do. The gentleman's agreement wasn't in the contract. I'll try my best, but I don't know what I can do. And Randy Orton then is about to leave when Shane says, wait a minute. There is one man that can do something about this. Who that man is, we'll have to find out. But after that match, we get the final blow-off. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair dominates the first two quarters of this match. And she's about to win. She has the figure 8 locked in. And then Bayley runs out. Bayley's not supposed to be here. Bayley runs out. She takes out Dana Brooke. Charlotte's distracted by the fight that's going on outside. The referee ejects both of those women. Both women are gone. Bayley's gone. Dana Brooke's gone. And now it's a fair fight. And because it's a fair fight, because there's no Dana Brooke at ringside to help Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks defeats her in 15-10 with the bank statement to win the Women's Championship. Sasha Banks' first title on the main roster. Bayley comes back out to celebrate with her. Sasha Banks is the new Women's Champion. No turn by Bayley. No turn. No shock turn. At least. I'm not building to a turn yet. Or ever. I don't plan on doing one. But plans change. Next segment is AJ Styles taking on John Cena. Almost a 5-star match. Damn it. Sensational wrestling and fantastic heat. Loser leaves the company until Survivor Series. No club runs out. It's mano-a-mano. And in a completely fair fight, AJ Styles bests John Cena tonight in 24:07 by pinfall with the Styles Clash and the Phenomenal Forearm. Why? The Springboard 450? Are you fucking kidding me? No. With the Styles Clash, followed by the Phenomenal Forearm, AJ Styles defeats John Cena. And John Cena kind of sits after he wakes up, you know. AJ Styles is gone by now. He leaves. He's celebrating up the ramp like I'm the fucking man. John Cena's in the ring and he's realized what's just happened. John Cena must take a leave of absence. Not by his choice, not because of an injury this time, just he's got to go home and do something else. So he sits there for a second, he stands up, he takes off his big armband on his bicep, he takes off the 2 on his wrists, leaves it in the ring, and walks off. And before our main event can get underway, the man that Shane was talking about was Mr. McMahon. No one else could do anything about it. And Mr. McMahon comes up to Stephanie and Seth and Chris and Big Show, and he's like, I've heard what's going on. I heard you're about to fight off the gentleman's agreement, but let me tell you something. I don't care if this is like the 12th year that this title's been in existence, if this is the 5th year this title's been in existence, but this title is brand new. Alright, and you're trying to kill it the second it becomes available? Not on my watch. Stephanie, if you, Chris, Big Show, or anybody else from that locker room comes out tonight and helps either Seth or Cesaro win, they're fired, the person they helped is fired, and you're gone from this company forever. Do I make myself clear? Stephanie nods. Chris Jericho and Big Show are just kind of looking like, oh, fucking shit. Vince then's like, Seth, go on to your match. Seth enters. Cesaro enters. The match gets underway. It goes 30 minutes long. An absolute all-time classic. Go on between Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Seth Rollins, they're just completely even. No man gets the upper hand for too long before the other one cuts him off, and they're just going 100 miles an hour for 30 minutes straight. But the match ends when the match has to end at some point. And the match ends after one man hits their finisher, pins the other man, and wins clean. And that man is Cesaro. Cesaro has won the WWE Universal Championship. He is the first ever Universal Champion in existence. He hits the neutralizer. He pins Seth Rollins. He defeats the biggest name on Raw, the number one pick. Cesaro wins. And Cesaro was picked by Stephanie just out of spite from Daniel Bryan. Just out of spite. Cesaro was never meant to be the first champion of anything. Not on this Raw. He wasn't meant to be the first champion. Daniel Bryan drafts Dean Ambrose. Oh, well, I've got Dean Ambrose buddy now. How'd that work out for you, Stephanie? It didn't work out great because Cesaro is now your first ever Universal Champion, and he goes on and he celebrates with that fucking belt. He celebrates like there's no tomorrow. Cesaro, first major championship he's ever won in this company. I don't think he's won the Intercontinental Championship, but if he has, then he's the fucking Grand Slam champion. But he's at least a Triple Crown winner, and you can't take that away from him. This is Cesaro's moment, and we end SummerSlam with Cesaro standing tall with a world title for the first time in his professional wrestling career. And we get a 96 in this episode. A 96 for SummerSlam. What a fucking show. Cesaro wins that world title. Ever since I drafted him to Raw, and I put it, not ever since I drafted him to Raw, but the second I put Cesaro in that second triple threat match, I immediately knew he was winning the belt. It's been too damn long without Cesaro winning a world title. Cesaro is so much better than he is being used, and he's already like one of the few guys left on the main roster that's being used well. And he deserves better. Seth Rollins. No, fucking Cesaro. Cesaro stands tall. What a fucking moment. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope you all enjoyed SummerSlam. I know I did. The next episode in this series will be the reveal of the schedule. It'll be a short, maybe 5-minute thing where I just say, oh, this show's happening here, and this is the brand it's assigned to. But after that, we are back on the grind. We are back on Monday Night Raw. And I hope to see you all for either one of those videos or both. I just hope to see you there for the next episode of The New Era.